Hi friends, this is Caitlin. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm making two really fun and bold spooky moon cards. So I was inspired to recreate this card layout from a card that I made with the Wow Embossing Powder's Aurora Borealis embossing powder that came out as part of Brennan Keene's collab with them. Because I made that card and I loved it, but I didn't film it, and I really wanted to play with more color combinations. So we're going to be making two extremely different color combo backgrounds for this, but they're both so beautiful. So I'm starting out with my largest Tim Holtz Moon Mask stencil. That's from Stampers Anonymous. It's a couple years old. I have two sets because I lost one of the moons for a while and I couldn't function. There's 3 different sizes in each set, and you get the solid moon, which is what we're using here, and you also get the crater layer. So for this warm toned background, I'm using the scattered straw, carved pumpkin, and then some crackling campfire. Then I'm going over just the outermost edges with black soot. I decided I lost the crackling campfire here, so we're going to come back in with more of that, especially at the bottom, to really orange it up. And I'm using the lightest color for both of these combos all over, and then keeping my darkest just out on the outer edges. For the moon for this one, I'm going in with a little bit of antique linen through the center, still just working on that blank solid moon, just because I don't like to work with a pure white moon. I like it to have a little color. Then I'm going over the crater layer with more antique linen and then just a touch of pumice stone. So that's going to give this really nice, warm, toasty moon. We're going to do the same exact steps, but we're switching to a cool tone color combo. So now I'm going in with Wilted Violet first. And you can see I'm working from on the stencil off onto the paper, blending it out with my little sponge blenders here. Some of them have seen better days, but I love them. Then I'm going to go in with some Villainous potion and start bumping up that deeper purple color, really emphasizing that highlight glow around the moon. The more contrast we have on the outer edges, the brighter the moon glow will look. I also popped in a little bit of prize ribbon, that blue. I just thought it layered really nicely and was going to help to pull this like a true cool tone versus just purple. I also went around just the outermost edges with that black soot, just like I did on our orange card. And then for the moon on this one, my base layer was a little bit of Lost Shadow. This is a newer sponge on this. For this one, I keep them all color by color. And this one definitely needs some more ink. It did not want to blend. But I added more Lost Shadow over the crater layer and then brought in a little bit of weathered wood, which has this really nice gray-blue undertone to it. So for stamping out my images, we're going to be using the same ones on both cards. So we'll kind of just swap the card bases in and out. These bats are from a stamp set, from a background stamp set from Sweet November Stamps. And I love them, but I do know that multiple brands have bats like these now, so I'll leave these one linked down below. But if you have any other cool bats, I know Kathy Zilski just had a cool release with Simon Says Stamp that has a curved thing of bats like this. I also came in with this tree from the same stamp set because I felt like the bats on one side felt a little too heavy and that the sentiments I was going to add weren't quite enough to balance out that weight. So I'm stamping this tree. You can see it has lots of lines. We're going to fill it in with a marker here in a minute. And I decided to stamp this sentiment higher. You could see I was moving it around, and I went for higher, and because of that, we're going to make a little adjustment to this one. It ends up being fine, but in hindsight, I wish I had just pushed that stamp down half an inch. But I stamped the Trick or Treat stamp with some embossing powder after I anti-static magic powdered my paper. And I'm going in with this beautiful black ice embossing powder from Pink and Main. It's a black, just like black glitter embossing powder, but it's so beautiful. And I didn't stamp either of these sentiments with black first. For this one, it definitely didn't need it. The black pigment was super rich. For this Boo to You stamp, first of all, you can see it's way taller. That's what kind of threw me off versus the Trick or Treat. This one takes up so much space, it didn't need to be lower at all. But the Trick or Treat was shorter, so it needed something else underneath. I also kind of wish that I had stamped the Boo to You in black first, because the Aurora Borealis Wow embossing powder that I'm using is stunning, but it's just a little sheer. So it's not bad. It's extremely legible still, and it's beautiful. I just don't know if I like that you can see where the moon stops behind it. So just a style preference, but it's this beautiful purple, green, blue, like shift glitter. And I absolutely love it. And I think it goes perfect with this cool toned background. So here's where I'm filling in my tree, making it a silhouette to balance out those bats instead of like a line drawn tree. And I'm just going in with the BK, I guess that's black. I don't really know what all of the Olo symbols stand for yet, what their alphabet code is. But I'm going in with that, and I'm just coloring in both of these solid. So this, like I said, to me, it helps to balance out the weight of those bats. But if you had one that was more curved, you could probably skip that. Or you could angle these too, more of like a diagonal. So like the bottom was a little more to the left, and that would probably even it out for me as well. So I did that for both. Then my panels, I forgot to mention earlier, were trimmed down to 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm gonna pop both of them onto a A2 sized black cardstock panel. So they have just that little thin black mat all the way around. So 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 for the black cardstock. And here's when I realized that compared to the Boo to You, the Trick or Treat just felt like it was too high and separated from everything else. I didn't like that there was that kind of gap in between the treat and the bat. So I brought in some old favorites. These are from Simon Says Stamp. They're like a witchy themed sentiment strip, and I love that they're the reverse. So they're black with white lettering. I'm going to trim down this one that says Happy Haunting. I just marked it with a pencil so it fit under that treat perfectly. I trimmed it out. I'm going over the lettering with a little like a cream color so that it would match the moon a little bit better. And then running black ink over the edges so that you can't see the white cardstock paper. It just looks solid black. And adding that right underneath, it brings it down just enough that I think it brings the perfect balance. So here you can see the beautiful color shift and glitter for this Boo to You. And that is our cool toned card. I love that shine. It's so pretty. And then for our Trick or Treat card, you can see that black sparkle, that little Happy Haunting. And I think that that was a really fun kind of like adjustment to make, to just bring in one extra little element to help kind of balance out the weight and making that triangle across our card. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'll be back on Friday this week and Sunday this week with more card videos. So I'll see you back here soon. And until next time, happy crafting.